Alright, sweethearts, I'm gonna start out at my statements in this video pertaining to the subject matter is a direct continuation of where I left off at in the previous Periscope video. Now, before I unpack that subject matter, because what I state in this video is going to be an absolute direct continuation of everything that I stated in the previous Periscope video, which is the video I just got done making, which means that that video will be right below this one in my account, and I'm gonna pick up from where I left off at, okay, pertaining to where I left off at in the last video. So, basically my initial statements in this video are gonna be. This video is a continuation of that video, and I'm picking up at where I left off at where I left off at in the last video. Sorry about that, everybody, but I was trying to figure out how to say it right, and then I got screwed up because of it. Oh my gosh. Alright, so check it out. Make sure you watch this video flat out, because I guarantee you'll be glad you did. And absolutely watch that other video. Now, here we go. I hate making videos sometimes because I get so video shy. Alright, check this out. Stay with this video, please, please stay with this video. I guarantee you'll be glad you did. Okay. What I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video is a Twitter link of a tweet on Twitter. Within that Twitter link holds the previous Periscope video, and through a dedicated tweet chain link, okay, and the tweet link that I talked about in the previous Periscope video, and that is incorporated within the video, the title of that Periscope video. Make sure you look at everything, the blog, everything. Just follow instructions. The best way to observe what is in the title of the of this Periscope video in reference to what you want, get out a piece of paper and pen, write down the URL characters, type them in at your URL address bar, and bring it up. But before you click on anything that is within it, what you want to do is watch the Periscope video that's right below this one. Now, that Periscope video is within one of the Twitter links that I attached in the tweet that's dedicated to the tweet that's in the title of this Periscope video. I apologize, that was a lot of instructions, and I also apologize for laughing at the beginning of this video, but I think laughing is my way of dealing with the psychological trauma and stress as a result of being a victim of gang stalking. Alright, so check this out. Make sure you listen to everything that I state in this video. Now, at the tail end of the previous Periscope video, which I got cut off, which I don't understand because I was only 45 minutes into the video. Excuse me. And I got videos on my Periscope account right now that are 47 minutes long. Alright, now hold on a minute. Periodically throughout this video, I'll be checking to make sure I'm still live, to make sure that I'm still live broadcasting. And if at any time this video gets abruptly stopped before I say thank you for listening, goodbye, still research what is in the title of this Periscope video, okay, and up to the point to where I get cut off. Alright, now where I left off at in the previous Periscope video, I flat out started to talk about you want to start your thinking, okay, at the point in the end of the last video where I said, okay, now listen to this, and that was when I was segueing into my section of my conversation pertaining to using an electronic cart at a grocery store. So you'll know that this is a follow-up. I'm segueing into where I was leading up to pertaining to why I brought that up. Now, as a direct result, remember, this is a continuation of that video. So you got to watch that video to understand why I'm bringing this up as well. Okay, because this is also incorporated within what I was presenting in that other video. Now, and then I'm just going to continue. So this is just an expansion, a sequential, a continuation, okay, of that video. So, say if you're a gang stalking victim and you're being remotely neurally monitored, right? Now, say if they want to remotely neurally choreograph, which is basically brain mapping, okay? Say if they want to brain map the area of your brain, okay? If you're being brain mapped as a result of being a victim of this crime, with or without the open gang stalking, which is the community-based harassment, Okay, which part of that is the community-based harassment? Because you can actually be gang stalked and subject to the gang of gang stalking, okay, and the stalking of gang stalking without the community-based harassment, but you can also be subject to the ganging up on through the courts and the doctors and the cops. Now, the following, is it being stated because of any security guards, any types of law enforcement participation in this crime, whether they're aware or not, okay, pertaining to the subject matter of what I'm about to state. So listen very carefully, because I guarantee you will be glad that you watch this. And no negative comments are allowed on my Periscope videos, so don't even bother making them, okay, because nobody's interested in watching any negative comments, including reminding the victim about their circumstances as well, okay, by seemingly posting an innocent question, okay. Just, if you don't understand that, just ignore it, okay. All right, now, where I left off at the end of the last Periscope video, I started segueing into an illustration because it applied to the subject matter, okay? And the way I started to present it, I said, as an example, or just listen to this. And then I started briefly talking about, say, if you went into a grocery store. This is the segue right now. Say if you went into you're a gang stalking victim, and say if you went into a grocery store, okay? And you've been running around all day because you're trying to do what you got to do in order to stay alive, to survive, while you're homeless, okay, without a car, okay. So you're running around all day trying to get back and forth to different places, libraries, to get your battery charges, charged for your phone, to do work on your blog, while you're mentally harassed and mentally abused every day along your routes, getting there, while you're there, coming back from there to go to the grocery store. So the grocery store is usually the last place that you may go to before you go to a wooded area to settle down, to go in there to relax, and then maybe find another one to sleep at, or sleep at that one. Okay. So you go to the grocery store, and by the time you get there, you're mentally tired, you're physically tired, you're anxious, okay, because of what's happening around you, what might occur towards you even at the grocery store. I strongly suggest you research bonds in gang stalking, BONS, including Ralph's in gang stalking. Ralph's, which Kroger owns, okay, in gang stalking. And how the fact that targets of this crime are gang stalked to grocery stores. It's all over the internet, exposed by thousands of victims. So I can't get comfortable. This is not the best video I've ever made, but trust me, it's worth watching, okay? So, say you get to the grocery store, you're tired, you're mentally tired, you're physically tired, because it's the last place you're going to after you've been running around all day while being victimized along all your routes. So you get to the grocery store, and by the time you get there, you're tired, so you go inside and you say to yourself, well, I want to use that little electronic cart, the disabled cart, okay? Because that way I can try and get this last part of my day done with while relaxing as much as possible, giving my body a break. Because a huge aspect of gang stalking is to wear you out mentally and physically and financially. Okay? Absolutely, because it assists in where they... See, because what this crime does is it monopolizes on the results and the effects from the results. Absolutely. Okay? So, you get to the grocery store and you go inside and you sit down and you use that little disabled cart, that electronic disabled cart that you can sit in and drive around inside the store in. They got them in Walmart too. So you sit there and you're getting in it, or that you're already driving around in it, and all of a sudden you look up and you see this little old lady who's carrying one of those little portable oxygen things, and she can barely walk. Or you see this little old man who's walking with a walker, and he can barely walk. Or you see a retarded child. I don't like using that word. I really don't. Let's say if you notice a child who's got a disability who can barely walk. What are you gonna do if you're a decent person? Okay, you're gonna start feeling guilty, and you're gonna get up and offer to let other people use your cart, right? Right. Well, say if you're so tired, or maybe your own knees are hurting, and you say, well, no, I can't take it. I got to sit in this cart because I'm already worn out and I still got other places to go to when I leave here. But you still feel the guilt. Right? Right? It's what they want. See, in organized stalking and gang stalking criminal expeditions, they already took a psychological profile of you for years, even. This is all over the internet. Even for years before the open community-based harassment starts, before they start completely destroying what's left of your life. Okay? So they've already taken a financial profile of you, a psychological profile of you, a personal one. They also know the general psychology of a human being and pertaining to how they think when it comes to specific subject matters and reactions and responses. Absolutely. Okay, the whole crime of gang stalking, okay, is achieved through surveillance and psychological operations in order to take the target to A, B, C, and D, and D and E is where you're exploited at. Okay? By applying through, but not limited to, applying the techniques. Okay? By and through applying the template of techniques, methods, tactics, protocols, maneuvers, and staged events. Now, is the following being made in any way to be a jab towards the police, whether they're aware that this aspect of this crime may be occurring or not? Because I'm going to tell you something. The police are completely responsible for a huge aspect of this crime. I don't give a shit if they're monetarily gaining any money off of it or if they're participating in it unwittingly. I don't care. Okay? Well, I care a little bit about that unwittingly, but I'm not going to go there. The point being is this, is that whenever anybody's got the power to put you in a cage or to assist in the protocols that are needed to, so a person becomes an illegal ward of the state for probate control, for federal and state funds, insurance fraud, and human trafficking, inside a syndicated run group home, as far as I'm concerned, I hope you burn in hell. Flat out. Absolutely. So why am I bringing this up? Hear me out. When a target of gang stalking is being remotely neurally monitored, they're being the brain states and all the neurological and biological processes that are being processed through the brain are being monitored in real time at all times. If they want to specifically target an area of the brain to make sure that they can absolutely brain map it for the choreographing, okay, then they got to induce a feeling, a thought, an emotional response, okay, a neurological response, and a brain state. If they want to identify this so they can manipulate it later through brain stimulation. Now, brain stimulation is all over the internet to be directly connected to remote neural monitoring. So is memory mapping. And you can also go to Google and type in and research how memory relay chips are put into target individuals' brains. Probably through the brain-to-computer interface, BCI implants. And so you can go to Google and type in remote neural monitoring and memory mapping, memory stimulation, and do any brain-to-computer interface implants and or memory relay implants play a role in this. So hear me out, because this is where it's going to get good. Okay, there's when you are subjected to an event that you are directly and or indirectly part of, where it produces a brain state, guilt. If that guilt is intentionally excited as a result of the perpetrators propping up a visual prop for you to see, like an elderly person who can barely walk, who's walking into the store while you're using the disabled cart. If you're so exhausted mentally and or physically hurting, and you decide that you're not going to give up this cart this day, okay, then you're going to feel guilt. And they know it, because they know you're a decent person. Absolutely. So what they'll do is, will they prop up things so, as a result of them knowing your psychological profile, will they prop up something to make you feel guilty about it? Because this is something that not only is personal pertaining to them knowing your personal psychological profile, but it's also the general psychology of all humans to do something for people who are disabled or elderly. Absolutely. These maggots will use the good of you so they can stimulate a brain state. So once that brain state is stimulated, guilt, they can see what area of the brain is dedicated to where you process guilt. Now, they probably already know where guilt is experienced in the brain, but they're trying to literally map the frequency, of your particular brain when it comes to the guilt area, the section of the brain that processes guilt. Because everything that's processed in your brain has a frequency output. They need it in order to stimulate that brain state that is part of the area of the brain that processes guilt. Do you understand? So, just hear me out. Now, why would they want to be able to remotely neurally choreograph and or create a brain response of guilt? Why would they do that? Hold on. Is it possibly because they know they're dealing with a target that is so educated concerning this crime that they are aware that there are police out there who are doing this, who are participating in this crime unwittingly, okay? And some are, and the rest of them are, all of them are doing it because they're controlled. Some are syndicate members, some are doing it unwittingly, but all of them are doing it because they're controlled. And they can be controlled unwittingly. Do you understand? Now, say you're dealing with a target who's been massively abused by a particular police department in reference to past events that were staged. They know they're dealing with a target who is aware that this police department has been identified, okay, and absolutely participating in gang stalking. Like, let's just say, for instance, SDPD and UCSD police. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? So, they already know that this target individual has processed thought responses pertaining to that abuse. What type of thought responses do you think that you would have if you were victimized by a particular police department, including, like, let's say, the Dearborn Police in Dearborn, Michigan, the Ann Arbor Police in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the Taylor Police in Taylor, Michigan? Because when it comes to this crime is going on in every neighborhood, city, county, and state in the United States, and it operates on a template of methods, tactics, protocols, maneuvers, okay, and techniques to achieve its criminal motivation. You got to make sure you watch the previous Periscope video in order to be able to see the entirety of what I'm stating. And I guarantee you'll be glad you did, okay? And make sure that you research the link, okay? Well, the link that's in that Periscope video is also incorporated within the tweet, okay, which is attached to the title of this Periscope video. So anyways, let me get this bird out of here because it's distracting me just a teeny bit. Get out of here. Go on now. So anyways, now why would they want to identify the area of the brain that processes guilt pertaining to that target individual's specific frequency of their brain as the brain is experiencing guilt? That's right. I strongly suggest you research brain stimulation and remote neural monitoring, memory mapping, how the entire functionalities of the brain, all human brains are the same in reference to the areas of the brain that are responsible and dedicated to different modalities, different modes of operations pertaining to the functions of the brain, the emotional responses like guilt in one spot pertaining to brain states. Well, actually, I think a lot of it's got to do with the hypothalamus as well. All right, so just hear me out. So, why would they want to initiate and excite guilt in a person? Because I don't know if guilt is an emotional cluster or not, an emotion or not, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's a brain state or an emotional response, but it doesn't matter either which way. They're intentionally propping up this physical prop to induce guilt so the guilt can be brain mapped. So the frequency of it, whether it's an emotional cluster or a brain state, they're propping up something for you to see, something that they know will induce guilt in you. Now, why would they be doing this and then repeating it over time? Because they're attempting to create a frequency attached to that brain state and or emotional cluster. Okay? So, why would they be doing that? So they can stimulate it at a later date. And what would they do? What kind of prop would they use? Okay, to stimulate guilt and have that be stimulated, okay, like when a previous thought pattern has been formed, or a B2K clone voice transmission is being used. Now, I talked about that in my previous videos as well. So hear me out. Say you got a target who's dealing with a police department, who's dedicated to the city they're currently in, who has absolutely been involved in massive past criminalities against the target, which as a result resulted in massive financial and sexual exploitation, and insurance fraud, and much more, even human trafficking. It was an absolute staged event, okay? So, say you're dealing with that police department. They know that the target individual, though, has become so educated to where they know that the target knows that some cops are being used and controlled beyond their will in order to keep their jobs. Or they were literally induced through voice cloning and voice morphing and B2K, those types of thought in a target's head. Okay? Let me give you an example. In B2K and voice morphing, which I talked about in the previous videos, where they can take a target's voice and put it in a computer and then structure streamlined sentences into the target's audio cortex using the target's voice print, like you hear me talking now. As a result of what's transmitted using voice to skull, V2K, into the target's audio cortex below the perceptual radar, meaning that the target does not know that it's happening to them, and it can happen at different perceptual levels, meaning that the target will hear it, but it will be heard in a mild way, meaning that they'll hear it and they'll hear it more and more like in a more prevalent way in their mind. They think they're having their own thought pertaining to deliberations, pertaining to, do I really want to go after this police department? Do I really want to sue this specific police officer for their past roles in the crime towards me? They can use V2K and voice cloning, voice morphing to literally transmit dialogue into the target's head that, well, do I really want to go after these guys because I know they're just controlled, while stimulating guilt. Now, when these things are transmitted, the target it's transmitted under the perceptual radar, so the target will literally believe they're having their own thought. As this is happening, it's stimulated, it's transmitted, the V2K and the voice cloning of the target's voice, therefore they think that they're having their own thought in their audio cortex, because they're hearing it in their own voice. It's transmitted in a time-rated transmission, meaning that they can't have any competing thoughts or conscious deliberations or conscious awareness that this is not something that they really believe in, because they already know that this police department is completely controlled, meaning that even if you do have just if you have a controlled police department, whether there's good police officers in it or not, a good police officer will still do what he's told. He will not stick his ass out in order to say, no, I'm not gonna do this against a target. I'll hire. Do you really think that a good cop is going to go out of his way to stick his neck out to hire a lawyer and say this and that and everything else is going on? Of course not. You can also be dealing with a good cop who might not even know the extent of it all. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter either which way, because a controlled cop is a controlled cop. He'll still do what he's told, and what he's told to do results in the effect. As a result of what he's told to do towards you, what he's told to do brings about results. Those results bring about effects, and the perpetrators monopolize on the results and the effects. So you can't have no mercy for police. Do you understand? Not when I'm not talking about like engaging in any violent behavior towards them or anything illegal. But what I'm saying is that you can't afford to have these types of thoughts. So what the perpetrators will do is induce these type of thoughts in order to control your behavior, so you don't go up against the police, in order to buy them time so they can continue the campaign to come after you and to control you in current events like court proceedings. Okay, in jails, while you're in jail, the next day they're going to be taking you to the courthouse for a court proceeding where you can stick up for yourself. They don't want that, so they'll transmit this type of dialogue using V2K in your own voice print in order to control what you do and don't do. You understand? Absolutely. And to create opposing neural pathways. Brain entrainment. Alright, hold on. Now, so it appears that the video has been turned around from recording through a lens now through my screen. So I want you to pay attention to what I'm stating to you here in this video. I apologize for that. Now, there is no way at all, period. If I'm in the middle of making a Periscope video and you can see me talking to you through my lens, and then all of a sudden you don't see me anymore, and now you see me talking, I'm literally videotaping right now through the screen of my phone. I started this video by video broadcasting through the lens of my camera. There's no way that you can change that in the middle of a transmission. My phone's hacked. Now, is this being done to let you know and the public know that my phone's being hacked by these perpetrators? So if I end up missing, the court's going to say, well, she was obviously being gang stalked. We better target the police, or we better find out what happened and who did it. You know, I'm going to tell you something right now. These don't think these wild maggots won't use patsies. Don't think that they won't. Okay? Why would they, in the middle of a broadcast, why would my phone switch from the lens of the camera videotaping me to my screen on my phone videotaping me? Why would they want this to be self-evident? There's no way that you can control and change these type of settings while you're in the middle of broadcasting, because it's actually something you got to go into and change the settings of. So why would they want you to know that my phone's hacked? Why would they want you to know this? Do you understand? While I'm live broadcasting, and then this becomes a part of my profile. So later on, they can say, well, Leslie must have been really being gang stalked, and who didn't do anything about it? The police. So you ask yourself, who could then possibly go after the police? The federal government, or the district attorney, who might want to go after a cop so he can be put in jail so his pension can be gotten a hold of. I'm just stating to you some possible things, because I'm going to tell you something right now. They'll target the police too. Now, I could care less who they target when it comes to the police department, because God only knows how many times the police have been involved in this crime. So this video didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It's obvious. We have to speculate and wonder based on the knowledge that we know. There's always a reason why these people do what they do. Okay? Do you understand what I'm telling you? There's always a reason why these people do things that they do. Especially while they're doing it openly for people to see. Think about what I'm telling you. There is no way at all for a person, while they're in the middle of a Periscope broadcast, to change their modes of broadcasting. From you making a video using the lens on your camera on the back of your phone, to all of a sudden it start recording through the home screen. You can't do that without stopping the broadcast, going into your settings to change how you're broadcasting. So why would they want you and me to know that they're doing this? To make it a matter of record so they can prove that the phone was hacked. So later on, if I pop, and this is just, let me just put it to you this way. Say if a specific target ends up missing, okay, they can say, well, look, it's obvious here that her phone's being hacked. Therefore, it's probably being tracked. So she went missing because her phone's hacked and tracked. Okay? So why would they openly allow this to be seen? Do you understand? We always got to wonder why they would allow this to be seen. There's always a motive for it. So, if let's say if a target individual goes missing and they're found dead, and the police all of a sudden or somebody wants to investigate it, whoever they go after is the patsy. I mean, I'm just saying that something like that was to happen. Because you can't, there's always a reason why these cycles do something. Okay? So, and don't think that life insurance is not a method of is not a criminal motivation of gang stalking. So, all right, fellow American citizens, I made this video today in order to inform, to expose the truth. It turned out to be a bad video because of all this bullshit that's going on. Okay? So, at any time, you can go to Google and type in cell phone hacking and gang stalking to see that this is a modality of this crime. Okay? To see that it's actually been done. This is the second time now it's been done. Even why some of my viewers noticed it as it was happening and made comments about it. And the other video that it happened in. That happened about a month and a half ago. So, we can go to Google and YouTube and type in cell phone hacking and gang stalking and come to understand that targeted individuals' phones are being hacked in real time. They will do things for individuals to wide openly see, and there's always got to be a reason for it. I don't know. All right, so check this out. I strongly suggest that you research what I put in the title of this Periscope video. Research brain mapping and brain stimulation and gang stalking, memory stimulation and gang stalking, memory mapping and remote neural monitoring. Do what I tell you to do. And I'm going to go because I'm not comfortable with the way this phone's behaving. My name is Leslie Williams. Research the previous Periscope video that's in this, the Periscope video that's right before this one in my Periscope account. Make sure that you follow instructions pertaining to this video and that one, and you will see truth. Oh, P.S. The blog those 3 snap screenshots of the 4 that I incorporated within the URL link that is in the title of the Periscope video before this one, make sure you look at number 82 on one of the snap screenshots, okay? There's always a reason why these people do what they do. They're not going to do something in real time for you to witness as it's occurring for no reason. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. Okay, so I'm going to go. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. Please research my videos dedicated to this account. Research what I expose so you can see the truth concerning the matters. I don't even like the way this is videotaping and it's making my eyes look all droopy. Alright, I gotta go. Make sure that you research what I've stated. Thank you for listening, everybody, okay?